Hello again, welcome back everybody to another edition of the Report. I am your World 2IC, and we're going to continue on with another little mini phrase or lingo, jargon, whatever you want to call it. And this one is going to be called food insurance. Now, I would say that most everybody watching this channel, at least as far as I can see on the analytics side of it, is 18 and over. And so you know what insurance is. You have car insurance. You have homeowners or renters insurance. You have health insurance. You have life insurance. So we all know the different types of insurances and we know what they're used for. They are a just in case. So you have flood insurance. You buy it that if there is a probability of having a flood, that you pay into it, that if that happens, then you use that insurance to help get you out of that situation, to kind of make things whole. You get homeowners or renters insurance, so that way if something happens by whatever means, accidental, your fault, your neighbor's fault, whatever, that after the event you utilize that insurance so you are made whole. So you do the same thing in the prepping world where you have food insurance. And basically all that is that is a pantry and a workable pantry. It is not hoarding of food. You can call it stockpiling in a sense, but when you do food insurance, you really want to do it in three areas. So you want to do immediate, which is your short term food items. And so those are things that usually have 6 months or less of a shelf life. And you want to be smart on how you stockpile it. And the rule of thumb for whatever you're stockpiling is buy what you eat. Do not go out if you don't like baked beans. Don't look at it and see that there's a sale that is, a penny a can, and buy a pallet of baked beans if you know you're not going to eat them. It makes no sense. Don't do it. Trust me, it takes up valuable real estate. Even if you have a huge warehouse and you can store pallets upon pallets, don't do it. Now, you want to move on to your second, which is going to be your mid shelf life. And this is usually your things like your Kansas soup and things along those lines that they have usually 6 months to, let's say, 2 years of a shelf life. Those are the ones that you can pile a little bit more because you have to also do the math. If you are going to eat without any sort of disaster, it's going to be the next, say, 2 years is going to be a relatively easy, I won't say easy, relatively okay times to where you're not going to have to bug in and all that. Okay. How many cans of soup are you going to eat in a week, a month, whatever? So let's say that you are going to eat an average of 2 cans of soup a week. So do the math. There's 52 weeks in a year, times 2 is 104. So if you are building your pantry, then what you want to do is make sure that you do not go over that amount. You don't want to do 500 cans because more than likely you are not going to eat that amount. On top of that, you doesn't hurt to have enough that a can might go bad, to have a can for trade. There's all sorts of reasons to have a little bit of extra, but you do not want to base your survival on eating a can of soup every day for the next year. It's not healthy. It's not going to do you any good. You're going to get bored really fast eating soup. Can it be done? Sure, but your sodium intake and all your other stuff, it's trust me, it's not going to be fun. So you want to do it smart. So on your food insurance, make sure that you have long-term, shelf-stable, stored appropriately raw ingredients to have your things that you can fall back on, your staple items. So things like rice, sugar, salt, all those kind of base things. To have flour and water is a good baseline to make a lot of different things with. I see a lot of people when they do pantries is they make mistakes and they go out and they buy 20 pounds of butter and they throw it in their freezer. And my question to them is, what happens if you have a power grid failure? How long is that butter going to last? Now, depending, I grew up where there was always probably 2 sticks of butter sitting out on the table, with a little dish covering over top of it. So does certain stuff need to be refrigerated? But what are you really going to do with 20 pounds of butter? But everybody's situation is different. Maybe they use a lot of butter in their cooking on there every day. Maybe they do some baking. Maybe they do other things. I get it. I know I'm going to get negative feedback from no matter what I post. But when it comes to food insurance, let's bring it back. Do you have food insurance? Do you have a pantry? Do you have anything started? If you do, good. If you don't, why not? The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. And if you don't do it now, then when? Because if you don't start now, then all you're going to do is make excuses. It's easier not to do something than to take that first step. So with that, we'll wrap this up. Do all the fun YouTube things. Hit the like, subscribe, the bell for notifications. So that way you can be notified for all the future content that we do. And with that, I will remind you to remain united. We're all prepping in this together.